You look at that front and look at what happens when D Ford has been active in just under half the snaps. You see the pressure rate up 12%, sack rate nearly triples, and how about nearly as many interceptions in 239 fewer snaps, not to mention a QB rating that is nearly 20-plus points, actually over 20-plus points below. So as we bring in a few Super Bowl champs, Willie with 3, coach there as the head coach of the Ravens in Super Bowl 35. Why don't you get us started, Coach, with the best way for that Chiefs front to try to slow down that 49er pass rush?
Well, it's going to be a task because obviously, and people have been talking about it all week. You're talking about 5 first-round draft choices. You build great defenses inside out from the front back. And certainly that's what San Francisco's got going. Kansas City, they like to get everybody out. So it comes to a numbers problem. I got 5 offensive linemen. If I want everybody out, I can double one of them, but that means the other 3 are one-on-one. Now, San Francisco's got to be careful here because, you want to get home to the quarterback, and I'd be interested in Willie's perspective on this. I'm not sure you wouldn't be better off with almost part of a mush rush rather than, let's get to the quarterback. But if you create that separation like Bosa being high and the defensive tackle underneath creates that lane, we've seen Patrick Mahomes kill people with that. They've got to keep him in the pocket, not necessarily sack him, but keep him in the pocket and not get outside. So maybe curtail the rush just a little bit to make sure he stays there.
Coach, and that's a great point. If it was the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if it was your Ravens, these 49ers or the Giants that won Super Bowls, the one thing that they did as a defense, they were able to get pressure with 4 guys and drop 7 guys into coverage. That's extremely hard for a quarterback or for a passing game to get going if you have 4 guys that can do that and drop 7 guys into coverage and make big plays, turnovers, and still be able to get to the quarterback and be effective.
So, Willie, kind of build on that if you could. When you're able to get there in 4, you still have all that sub-4.4 speed. You still have a matchup problem with Kelsey. What do those 7 guys need to do to prevent those huge, explosive plays?
Well, when you go into the defensive meeting room, like Coach will tell you, you want to limit the opportunities. And one of those ways of doing it is the old-fashioned way, okay? You can run the football if you're the 49ers. They ran the ball 40-plus times. You limit opportunities for Pat Mahomes. That may not work. So you got to go out and play defense. The number one thing you do not want to do against these track star USA track team is not give up big plays down the field, explosive plays. Make them throw everything in front of you. Make them go 80 yards and have long drives. The other things you want to do as a defense that a lot of teams are scared because of the Chiefs' team speed is you want to get hands on the receivers. You want to throw them off their route. You want to throw the timing routes off. And you can still get back into your zone shell. You can run 2-man out of that. You got to mix up coverages. You can't let Andy Reid, who is one of the best play callers in the league, know what you're in every single play. So you want to mix things up. You want to try to disguise. You don't want to gamble. You want to play specific. You want to get guys to the football. But the key for Robert Saleh, I would say, is mixing things up, jamming the receivers at times, not giving them free entry into the secondary. And at some point, you got to come up with a turnover or 2 in this game.
Yeah, people say you can't play zone against Kansas City, but along what Willie's saying, you want to minimize the possessions. One thought might be, and I've talked to some defensive guys, if you play a good solid zone with that 4-man rush, make them get the ball underneath. Now, Mahomes will do that, and they could maybe get together a 10, 12, 13-play drive down the field. But they're also chewing up clock, and that's what San Francisco wants to do. They're going to chew down the clock with the running game. If you make Kansas City go the length of the field, like Willie says, just don't give up the big plays. Yeah, it's a little frustrating for them to keep hitting those plays underneath, but maybe they have to settle for 3. Maybe they don't convert on the 3rd down, and they're grinding down the clock so that you bring this down to a 1-possession game in conjunction with the running game of the 49ers that shorten that game. That might be an approach we might see.
Coach, when we played the Rams in 2001, we knew we could not win and play the finesse game with the Rams. We knew that they had too much team speed. They were too good on the outside and at the running back position. We wanted to change the complexion of the game. We wanted to make a physical, dirty, grimy game, and we wanted to be extremely physical, which we knew they didn't want to do. So I think for the 49ers, they have to understand that. This is a finesse team. They're not that physical. They have some extremely talented receivers. You make a mistake, you make a mental error, it'll turn into a big play, into a touchdown. But you have to get physical with them. You got to have them looking over their shoulders and knowing that they're going to get hands put on them, they're going to get hit, they get the football. And that will change the attitude a little bit.
One of the reasons why everyone's so excited about Super Bowl 54, the strength of that defense versus that explosive offense. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Coach. And that brings us to the Social Blitz, which is presented by Reese's. Take 5 as we do a quick tour of a number of tweets and posts at Instagram. You see the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 GOATs there, little emoji action. Andy Reid, and just announced a couple weeks ago that he will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the class of 2020, Jimmy Johnson. Frank Clark was a tough start to the season, dealing with injury following his acquisition from the Seahawks by the Chiefs. You see him say what a wonderful week it has been. Control what you can and be free. The 49ers getting in on it here, putting on the finishing touches. Jimmy Garoppolo there with the hashtag #BeLegendary. Certainly some serious shoes to fill in the 49er quarterback position. And one more sleep. That's all it is. We are almost exactly at 24 hours from kickoff.